Welcome to the Hired Not Fired podcast, brought to you by The Real Me, the soft skills first talent solution that helps employers hire entry-level employees with better developed soft skills, such as communication, problem solving, or emotional intelligence. Join us as we sit down with hiring managers, talent leaders, and others and get insider tips to help Gen Z stand out and get hired. Let's dive in. Hey there, welcome to the new episode of Hired Not Fired. This week, I'm excited to introduce Shannon Roche. Shannon is a university recruiter and internship program coordinator for Sevita, the leading human services agency in the country. Formerly working directly in social work for 8 years herself, Shannon is super passionate about hiring for entry-level healthcare and human services students. Welcome, Shannon.
Yes, thank you for having me, Deb. I'm super excited to chat with you today.
This is great because I would love to hear, and I know our listeners would love to hear a little bit about Sevita, the leading human services agency. First of all, wow, that's big. But tell us a little, what does Sevita do?
Yes, we are the largest provider of specialty healthcare human services in the US, which is always wild for me to think about. But we are in at least 40 states at this point, Deb. And we have three main lines, right? Because we serve individuals 0 through elderly, 100 plus, end of life. So our three main lines: neurorestorative, just like it sounds like, supporting individuals with neurological concerns, TBI. Then we have community services, and that's supporting adults with substance use disorder, mental health, developmental delays. And then my line, pediatrics, is going to be helping out kids 0 through 18 and young adults as well, so 18 through 21, and their families. I always say, maybe the kid is struggling with something, their families are as well.
Definitely.
And we have every role that you can imagine within that role, right?
So tell us about some of the entry-level roles then, specifically.
Yes, entry-level roles specifically. So the first one that comes to mind, and that's a lot of what I hire for as the intern program coordinator, is the behavioral health technician role. Now, Deb, in some states, it's also called the behavior technician, or in other states, the direct service provider. So BHT, BT, or DSP, what I call it.
Depending on the state.
Yes, depending on the state, yep. But essentially, they're a role that works one-on-one with our kids. So they work under a licensed counselor, social worker, BCBA, and they're providing the one-on-one support, therapy skills to just support this child in being healthy, happy, successful in their day-to-day lives.
Wow, that's the kind of job that has a lot of meaning to it, right? And you hear a lot that Gen Z is a generation that looks for a career or a job that has meaning and purpose. So that's definitely one of them. What kind of background do they need for that position?
Yes, so it's dependent on the state, but in my experience, usually it's going to be either a high school diploma or bachelor's degree, and then a few years experience. So for my interns specifically, majority of them are in their bachelor's program and have 1 to 2 years experience.
Mm-hmm. So you hire interns that already have 1 to 2 years experience. Tell me how that works.
Yes, well, just naturally, right? Because these are roles working with children with behavioral concerns or disabilities. We are looking for individuals, yes, who already have a little bit of experience. But what I always tell my applicants anyways, is that doesn't necessarily have to be professional. I work with individuals, I get resumes from applicants. They were a volunteer camp counselor for 3 or 4 years. Hey, that is huge experience. And maybe you volunteer and not professional, but that's exactly what we were looking for.
Okay, so any sort of role working with kids in a responsible manner. Okay,
Exactly.
now I think the stress level of some of the listeners can calm down, because one of the jokes in entry-level hiring is they're asking for 5 years experience. It's like, do they not understand what the word entry level means?
Yes.
So, and now you're saying an intern needs 2 years experience, but I think that the kind of experience you're talking about is something that someone who wants to work with kids can probably easily get.
Yes, they're passionate about it. They have those soft skills. They've been around children. They're able to show all of that. But I think all my supervisors understand there may not have been a paycheck involved, but that doesn't mean it's not valuable experience.
Well, that's
Yeah.
great. So, what other roles besides that one?
Yes. So we also have in our internship program, they're not entry level per se, but it's for individuals still in college.
Okay.
So we have a lot of positions for our Masters of Social Work students, as well as our Masters of Counseling students. In kind of same realm though, right? Maybe 1 to 2 years of experience. Maybe it's not professional, but we're still able to show something on our resume. And those roles are awesome, Deb, because not only are they for masters, but they are field placements that's going to support these individuals in getting licensures. So
Oh,
becoming
right.
licensed social workers, licensed counselors in our, again, over 40 plus states. So I love that we're able to support those interns as well.
Wow, that's great for students who are listening, MSW students. You can help get your license.
Some
And
apply.
yeah, that's great.
Yes.
Any other entry level positions you want to share?
Yes, so we have been expanding a lot over the last few years. And something that we've been focusing on this last year, especially, is PTAs, OTAs, SLPAs. So I use a lot of acronyms,
Yeah,
clearly.
you're going to tell us what those mean, right?
Yes, yes. So physical therapy assistants, occupational therapy assistants, and speech language pathology assistants. And usually individuals in those roles are also in either their associate's degree or bachelor's degree as well.
I would imagine that that's a great role for someone who's thinking of going to grad school to be a PT or an occupational therapist or something, right? They get to see what it's like before they start the program.
100%, Deb. I think you're spot on. A lot of our PTAs, okay, wow, I love this role. Let me continue my education, get my doctorate into a
Yeah.
PT, excuse me. That's definitely not uncommon.
That's great. I love it. Anything else?
Yeah. For the roles, not that come to mind right now. But again, I mean, my dream, I'm dreaming big. Our internship program will move out of just pediatrics into neurorestorative and community services as well.
Okay, so right now you don't have internships in those two branches.
We don't have an internship program, right? Because the awesome thing about pediatrics is not only do we hire interns, we have the internship program, which is run by myself and my coworker, Zalis. Shout out to Zalis. We actively recruit and work with schools. So our other lines definitely have interns that they offer, but I don't think there's that active recruiting where they travel to different colleges, work with schools, things like that. But I with how big of a company we are, I'm positive that there's different opportunities and different lines.
Yeah.
Yes,
You
for sure.
mentioned that you run the internship program. Can you tell us a little bit about what kind of tasks or what it's like in the internship program? And then I also know you mentioned that you even give career development in your internship program, which I think is really exciting. Win, win, win for everyone. So tell us a little bit about the program.
Yes, thank you for asking because this is something I'm super passionate about. So, when you join us as an intern, you are not just getting your field placement with us, but you have the option to, it's completely online, optional, supplementary. But I call it like a combination of career development and get to know the company. So me and Zalis will hold meetings throughout each semester, send newsletters, gifts. We love welcoming people into our company. But so far this semester, Deb, we have had a welcome meeting in September, had all of our interns join, get to meet each other from all of our states, and kind of set up what the next year is going to look like. Just last week, we had a meeting with the president of the pediatrics, excuse me. His name is Doug. He came in and he talked about his life story, his career journey, his hopes for pediatrics, gave advice to interns. And then we have resume workshops, mock interviews, how to make your LinkedIn pretty to recruiters.
Wow.
Yes, in something, Deb, I'm actually really excited about this year. So me and Zalis, we do exit interviews when anyone finishes their internship, whether they stay on with us or leave. And we got some feedback from bachelor level interns where, hey, we love everything you're offering, all these different workshops, but these, one-off meetings don't really fit with our schedule, which makes sense, right? Bachelor
Mhm.
students, You all have sports, volunteering, the kind of stereotypical class schedule. So what we're doing this year is instead of like big workshops, you are able to use my Calendly link and throw in a time that works for you. Even if it's a little bit earlier, a little bit later, and we can discuss any kind of career development opportunity that you want. So we're starting those soon, and I'm excited.
That's great. How many interns do you usually hire in a semester?
Yes, so we hire all year round, and we consider our numbers based on the year, right? So we call it a cohort. So this is currently the fall 2025 cohort, but we're going to include numbers all the way through summer. So this cohort is a little over 60, which is about 10 more interns than last year. So next year I'm shooting for 75. That's a number I would love to see. Grow a little bit every year.
That's great.
Yeah.
This is wonderful. Thank you for sharing and letting us know about a new industry that I'm sure listeners would love to hear about. And I would love for you to come back and tell us a little more next time about how you go about hiring for your internship positions. So thanks again, Shannon, for coming, and I can't wait to have you back.
Of course, Deb, I'm excited to join again.